right, we are ready for our second last talk of the day. And for this one, I'd like to bring on Tushar to tell you all about on-chain reputation. So please give him a big round of applause.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. It's always a great opportunity to be in a room full of people working for the future of Web3. And from my interactions of today with people, all of you here, and I'm pretty sure that Web3 is in good hands and it's going really great. What I want to talk today, I'm Tushar, by the way. I'm building True Network. It's an digital reputation layer for the internet. And I want to put this idea, I want to make a statement that reputation is better than capital for social contracts in Web3. And I want to just put this idea in front of all of you, not as a pitch for a product, but a pitch for a pitch for a new primitive that I think could add a lot of value to the people using Web3 and internet in general. So yeah, let's unpack this today. But before going on to depth for reputation, the way I want to start this is asking you guys this question that have been bugging me for a long time. So what do you think, guys? What problem does Web3 solve at a human scale? If this would have been an AI conference, I think people would be yelling at AGI, we want to build the artificial general intelligence, and there's huge consensus about it. But what is it in Web3? I'll give some pointers. Let me know by a hand raise if you think that makes sense with you. Is it fairness? Do we want fair systems? Does that make sense? Okay. Is it the money aspect of it, the currencies that we could transact with? Is that what we are here for? Okay, I see some people shifting their hands. Um, is it the ownership aspect that you could own some items truly for the first time ever? Is that aspect excites you about Web3? Okay. Lastly, is it about the privacy, which all of this year we have been reading about protocols building in the privacy sector. Okay, some people are here for privacy. I have been reading about some great people talking about what they are here for Web3. Sriram talks about credible commitments and Ethereum. That he says that blockchain basically provides you credible commitment as, think of it as that there could be only 21 million Bitcoins. That's a credible commitment that a technology stack makes. This is for the first time ever we are able to do it. Then Gavin Wood talks about less trust, more truth, that we are in a system where you don't have to trust anyone else on the network. Trust in itself is not bad. It's the fact that when you're forced to trust, when you're transferring money, you have to trust the bank you're transferring to, that's a problem. So Gavin Wood says that we are building systems where you don't trust, but there's more truth. And Vitalik and Balaji talks about credible neutrality as a guiding principle. These are all different ways to say the same thing, that we are building a system that is indifferent to the people using it. It has a set of rules that which we act. But I tried to confide this into my way of saying this, or like a more common thing, that is coordination without trust. That we all are here, whether we are using any application online, we want to coordinate with each other without needing to trust. So think of it, when we go on Uniswap today, we will swap a token there. At the same time, you know that if two people are swapping the token at the same time, you know that the price that they're getting is same. So that's how the fairness property is added. When you're using for cryptocurrency, or like when you're using NFT, you know, if you hold the NFT, you are definitely credibly invited to the community that it has. So that sort of properties, that coordination happens, and this coordination is called coordination without trust, alignment. And this alignment is great in itself, but the way and that's what blockchain is for. But the way we are building this alignment is actually using capital. So we use capital to coordinate with each other. So blockchains remove the middleman, but then we are removing the middleman by using capital at stake. So the system works like this. You want alignment, you put up some financial stake, and then to make sure people don't lose the opportunity cost on that stake, you give them the reward. And then from the reward, by giving the system, you created this alignment. Now this alignment that we got, it's like a treadmill we are on. So you keep on increasing the financial stake to handle bigger attacks. And to attract more financial stake, you have to give more rewards. And thus, this alignment lags behind in this whole process. So this system is great, it works, but it is not scalable enough because there's only enough capital in the world, and how much could you stake all the time? So what I want to propose today in this talk, for the first time probably, is, and by the way, this itself, like take a look at our bills that we pay. So for securing Ethereum, this blockchain itself, we are paying about $4 billion a year to these validators to secure it. For a context, Google pays around $500 million for their whole security across all products. We are paying $4 billion. Polkadot pays 85% of their annual inflation through staking rewards. Bots and Tibbles already drain these. And like on-chain governance today has using like low signal votes, like people who holds more tokens get more votes, plutocracy. So I think for all of these problems, there could be proof of individuality and reputation together could solve this. And the way to do it, we call social contracts. And here's my pitch for it. Unlike money, which can be hoarded, reputation is distributed and plural. No one group can fully capture it. So this is a first time, like a merit-based thing that could be earned, not inherited, and is portable across contexts. So capital could be siloed in a protocol. You have $100, you could stake in a protocol, but you can't stake it in another one. Whereas reputation is based on if you are a DeFi user, you are using your past behavior to actually coordinate with the people and removing the middleman in this case. So reputation makes, as I said, blockchains more plural. Capitals makes them plutocratic. We are already trying to solve like this capital siloed thing with Sriram's idea on restaking. We use the capital again and again to stake. But I say we could also try a new way, that is reputation. So as I said, the reputation is scarce, non-transferable compounding, and costly to fake. You may handle some sort of capital loss, but you won't be able to handle a reputation loss, which is permanent, which is on-chain, and which is there on your identity. The way to implement this is complicated, but I think whenever I talk about this, what people usually say is that it has a cold start problem. How do you start a reputation system? They get confused with starting it thinking of reputation as a way to onboard. But I say reputation is not a way to onboard, it is a retention tool. Even if one or two apps decides to use the protocol that we are building today, they could start making the user stay, and the system would start from there. The governance systems could use reputations from that point itself. So reputation for coordination is also not a new concept. It has been part of our history. We all are from, most people are here are from India. So if you remember, Akbar, the great emperor Akbar, he was one of the first person I know in history who actually used a quantifiable numeric number to use as reputation for his officials. So he used this reputation to decide roles among people. He used this reputation to grant what access each individual had. And this system worked great for him. He almost ruled the northern India, all parts of northern India, which is a big area if you are from here. Another thing, Ashoka in past, even before Akbar, used a qualitative measure for this with the Ashoka's Dhamma concept. He used Dhamma Mahatras and then the spice network, whose purpose was to send out these values of reputation to the people that what is incentivized, what is not. That's what reputation is coming from. That you decide, okay, this is incentivized. You do this action on chain. This is incentivized by giving you more reputation. And if you do the other way, it is not incentivized. You may end up burning your reputation. But the problem with in the history and why this could be done now today is that why they failed sort of is that they were monarchy-led governance. Anyway, like when these systems are monarchy-led, you are never sure on the next game to be changing the value systems permanently. So what reputation systems with blockchains now could do, that we can make them immutable. The rules that we set are now part of the protocol that can't be changed, and it is verifiable. Now, other thing is credible neutrality, that you don't want people to be divided based on who they are, where they're coming from, and everything. Blockchains treat them as anonymous wallets. So reputation, again, helps in this case to coordinate. When I say coordinate, also this is the first time we have a technology like a public ledger that people can trace back how they build their reputation and using it. So the trust, again, builds more on it. How we do it is with True Network, we are basically allowing protocols to give attestations to their users, build their reputation in the system, and then use it across apps like an asset. So we are making reputation as an asset to be used. With this looks something like this, where we have A lot of on-chain attestations. These attestations are you transacting on a Uniswap exchange, in a liquidity pool, you're giving liquidity to systems, you're playing a game, and everything that you do, different kinds of actions, those act as on-chain attestations. Then there is reputation models, which are built by people and are running on-chain that allows open forkability and like open reliance on these things. You can, again, build a better version if you like. And this score generated is owned by the user. User can own this reputation score and use it in apps. Now, this sort of thing we have already seen. There are a lot of projects are actually working in a similar fashion. What we want to start and tell all these projects together that let's build on one important narrative on it. So to tell that, I'll just take a step back and look at the general architecture back again. So we have identity. Think of identity we use to prove someone's identity. We use proof of individuality mechanism, telling that you are a unique individual. Whatever number of wallets you want to use. But at the end, you are a unique individual. There are many protocols, ZK Passport, WorldCoin, and so many other. Polkadot has something called decentralized individuality mechanisms. So we can use any of that. It's composable with that. Then on top of it, you have your credentials, the proof of contribution, the actions that you did to build up your identity, which is traceable. Then you have reputation models. This is all vertically integrated. So reputation models allows you to compute the scores on chain, as I said. Finally comes the most important part, that is the social contracts, which I started the conversation with. Social contracts essentially is a way to program these reputation. So far in Web3, whatever reputation systems we have seen, they just act as a signaling force that, okay, you hold this score, this is your Kaito score, you either get money out of it or this is just a signaling system. We say that reputation could actually be a usable asset. Think of it like when you transact on a contract, you have message.value, which is the token. Now you can have message.reputation, which is the reputation of the user. You can ask the user to sign this contract to stake their reputation in the app. If they don't do it right, you could slash their reputation and make them accountable for their actions. So that is how this works at True Network. But this is an open extensible protocol. Anyone else could also start building in this direction. So to give the more formal definition of social contracts, think of it as an agreement for coordination, which is based on reputation as an asset. So we treat reputation not as a signal, but as an asset. So the contract in itself, there are some rules. The contract in itself is immutable and transparent, like how we have in Web3 in general. Then we have accountability of the contract. This is where we determine that something is transferable or not. So the person who signed the contract, the individuality of that person is linked to it, and it can't be changed. You can't get out of the contract apart from any of the rules mentioned in the protocol. So this basically defines for each party signing their end reputation. The faithful execution of this whole process is kind of guaranteed by the underlying protocol that runs it. The reputation systems and the smart contracts like Ethereum gives the faithful execution guarantee for the smart contracts and your token flows. Similarly, True Network in this case is going to give that. And it allows users to use it just an asset, like stake it, burn it, slash it, hold it for some time, decay someone's reputation. All these mechanisms are there, and is purely permissionless. Any individual can choose however he built, whichever app in which he built his reputation, to be used as part of this. So this gives them more flexibility into what sort of things could be built. There could be games that builds users' reputation on chain, and then use the reputation to create tournaments. This is one of the things. There's most tournaments that happens on-chain games are actually off-chain. So you could use the on-chain reputation to define if you reach certain threshold, you can be part of the tournament and join. Another example is that let's say you have not been liking what I've been saying so far. You decided to throw something at me, which I would like to believe that Karthik would ban you from not going there, because you are part of a social contract here as well, which is the code of conduct. So you are already signed a social contract. But imagine doing the same thing in an online meeting where you have joined with your wallet. You would again, simply if you are banned, you will spin up a new wallet and join it again. So reputation helps in this case with individuality together to make sure that you are following the rules of the protocols that you initially agreed on. There's so many financial use cases, the assets that I've mentioned, the funds that we pay. We could pay validators with stablecoin, fixed stablecoin rewards. making them that not big organizations running up multiple validators, earning up more and more capital and making the system centralized. So these all could work together to make our systems more efficient. I tried to draw this diagram. I'm not good at drawing, but so think of it this we have this reputation layer, R1, R2, R3. These are the reputations of each individual, which is on-chain, which is present there. The individuality layer makes sure you are a unique individual. And then the social contract, this slightly visible yellow lines, these determine that how do you connect with peer-to-peer. So you can't always stake money when you connect with someone. I know there's protocols trying to do that, but these are not scalable. You have only X amount of money, and it's not inclusive if we aim for this direction for staking money, because what's the limit of staking money? You could keep staking more and more and more, and then someday people can accept the loss to do some bigger hack. This is all not just an idea, actually. We started with ETH India 2022 with an idea of developer reputation. We tried to confine it, worked hard to actually make it a protocol. ETH India 2024 is when we actually had some of these projects built on-chain, on-chain, the reputation narrative. We're trying to build this narrative from grounds up to have people actually building. So some of these projects, including like one of my favorites is the finalist for ETH India 24 was Fanbase, that basically if you like Coldplay, then you could basically get insured tickets if you have a certain reputation on the Spotify of listening them and actually enjoying their music, rather than just hoarding and selling it for a better price. Placeholder is a very interesting project again. This allows people to actually create billboards with automatic reputation for each ads, with people signing on to contracts that, okay, this app doesn't look good, this ad doesn't look good, it's probably scammy, and then you can turn down after the reputation goes down. So social contract could, again, further these projects into better directions. Community at True Network, we want this, the whole purpose of this talk is to just invite a discussion on this, invite people probably if you're building at ETH India next time, or probably some hack, to actually try on building this narrative that how you could use reputation into your apps. We tried with ETH India, there's people building on it, and there's a Telegram group where we keep talking more and more of this. In the last months, we as a group of people, very small team, we got a testnet launched called Ramen Network, named after a scientist, C.V. Raman, that basically has all these, some of these features already implanted in some building. We got our funding from Web3 Foundation. We got a technical audit done first, technical audit done a couple of months back from Block Deep Labs. We partnered with ETH India, and we got Gavin Wood following us on Twitter, with a very small Twitter base though. Our mission is simple, that we want to build a coordination fabric for the internet, which is not primarily based on capital, but also based on reputation. And I think we will soon be able to succeed on this. And yeah, guys, that's me, Tushar, from True Network. I've been to ETH India for a very long time. And yeah, I want to end this by just this one quote, that no force on earth can stop an idea whose time has come. And I'm pretty confident the time for on-chain reputation has come. And please build on this narrative. Thank you.